I want to talk to you about the crossover ensemble that I started 4 years ago with Chinese erhu, Chinese violin, Chinese erhu player Kathy Young. In early 2010, I performed a concert in Washington, D.C., produced by a local producer. And before the concert, this person said, Xiang Gao, can you play half of a recital on the violin? We have a Chinese violin player who plays the erhu, playing the other half, and the hope is maybe the two of you can play one piece together. So the Eastern violin, the two-string Chinese violin, and the Western violin can have a real encounter. So I said, okay, that sounds pretty challenging. We'll give it a try. I grew up in Beijing, China, listening to Chinese folk musicians performing and practicing. But before that, I didn't have an opportunity. I hadn't had an opportunity to collaborate with them on the same stage. So then we end up performing a piece, a violin showpiece that I arranged for the two instruments. And I fell in love with the instrument. And Kathy's a master player from China, a new immigrant living in Maryland. So we started this project. When you look at the two instruments side by side, actually, let me turn my computer on. You could tell that they're somehow related. All the both string instruments, not all of them, many of them originated in ancient Persia. One went to Europe, became the violin. The other went to China, became the two-string Western violin. That's what they call it in Chinese, Western violin. So, and what we want to do is to create new composition and also arrange music from musical styles from classical to Chinese folk to pop, some funk, jazz, and also contemporary classical music for this new sound. 6-wired, 6 strings, 2 strings from the erhu, 4 strings from the violin. So I wanted to play for you a few short clips. First piece is the violin showpiece Carmen Fantasy by Sarasate after Bizet's famous opera. And this is one of the hardest pieces written for the violin. Now you can hear on the erhu 2 strings without a fingerboard. That you might be familiar with this after coming to some of the concerts. All right. So when arranging for the erhu, the challenge that I faced was the erhu is basically the middle two strings of the violin. So you cannot play very high nor very low. So I would have to change my octave, the range of my notes, to either extremely high to double her or play very, very low. So, and the other thing is the erhu bow hair is actually locked permanently in between the two strings. So she, or any erhu player, could not play completely off the string. So the length of the articulation of short notes would have to match. But thankfully, erhu is a very vocal instrument. It has a beautiful tone. Anyways, another challenge was for the erhu players, they have to sit down. The instrument has to be placed here, and then I talked to Kathy. I said it's very, very difficult sometimes when I'm moving on the stage and you're sort of a statue on the stage. So she said for certain pieces, not the Carmen, not the hardest pieces, she would stand. So then there's a little clip that she's using in her dress. So there will have to be a little hole in some of her dresses. So then the erhu can actually be clipped on and she would stand up and play. So that's another breakthrough we had. And nowadays you see some Chinese erhu players standing. So that's amazing to me. And then, of course, growing up in the 70s and 80s, we in China, we love American music, and then Six Wire Project is really proud to be cultural ambassadors between the two worlds, and we decided to also go into jazz. So the next piece is a funk jazz. If you don't like jazz, sorry. The Six Wire Project, we have performed at Kennedy Center, performed for the Chinese ambassadors event in Washington, D.C. In many world performing art venues in Asia. We're going to perform in Europe and also in Asia later this year. Last weekend, we performed an outreach event, a free event at the Dover Public Library, promoting the concert series. And I'd like you to know the concert series on this campus is presenting many different types of music, from classical to jazz to musical theater to dance in the future and holiday pops. crossover, world music, vocal recitals, piano recitals, chamber music. I hope you come to the concert series. I brought some brochures here. It's a professional quality series here on this campus, and also co-sponsored by the Department of Music. We also have Department of Music events. So I hope you will let your friends and students and families know about these opportunities. And I'll end my section with a little bit of rock music, if I may. This is ants marching. Well, thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the second half of the event. Thank you. I'd love to talk to you later.